So you didn't get that job that you really wanted, thought you deserved, and was well qualified for it? Let's talk about it. I'm Adrienne from Adrienne's Avenue, and I talk about things that are rich, relatable, and relevant that will help you become the leader that others want to follow. Let's jump right in. Now, I don't know of anyone who's always interviewed and received every job that they posted for or gotten job offers every time. We've all been disappointed at some point in time that we've interviewed for a job that we thought that we did a good job in the interview and it just didn't happen for us. And barring anything that's integral, there may be a few reasons why you really didn't get the job that's fair. The most prevalent reason may be the interview itself. Were you prepared for the interview? Did you answer their questions to completion? Did you come up with good questions at the end of the interview? Were you prepared for those questions such as, tell me a little bit about yourself. Why do you even want this job? How can you contribute to our company? Just things about the position. Did you know in detail the duties of the position? Were you prepared as you possibly could have been? Then there are those communication skills during the interview. Did they understand what you were saying during the interview? Did you ask good questions at the end of the interview? Were you able to answer those general questions like, tell me a little bit about yourself, or why do you really want this job? Those questions that you know that's going to come up that you need to really nail it during that interview. And make sure you connected with the folks during the interview. Were you yourself? Or were you trying to be someone different? It's best to be as authentic as possible because who they see in the interview needs to really be who they're getting with that job position. The second thing you want to consider is you may not have been the top candidate for the position. You don't know. You weren't in all the interviews, so you don't know. As good as you may have done in your interview and known everything about the job, someone may have had just a little edge over you during their interview and they were selected instead of selecting you. I was in a room full of people from another company and I was astonished at how some of the younger ones that were go-getters, they were doing things that I was telling myself, well, I'm not going to do that, or that's doing too much. They were willing to do these things. And so that put them above some of the other people in the room. And so those are things that you need to consider. Did you do all that you needed to do in order to get that job? Were there certifications? Was there education? Were there designations that you could have gotten to put you just a little bit above everyone else? Just take into consideration that there may have been someone else that was better qualified and the top candidate for that job. Now, I will give you the job if you hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can remain up to date on all the latest information as it becomes available to you. This one is kind of a hard fact for us to face, but sometimes, honestly, we're not as good as we think we are. So this comes up in the interview as you're talking, as things come up, your experience level comes up. You may not be at that level that you think you are, and sometimes you realize it during the interview that you're just not there yet. And if that's the case, you can go ahead and go back and start eliminating things that knock you out of the interviewing process during that interview. And so I'm a big proponent of whatever the job qualifications were to make sure I had all of those. If there was something I was lacking in, make sure if it was a class I needed to take or a designation I needed to get, I make sure that the next time that was taken care of, so that would not be the reason why I was not able to get that job. But experience speaks a lot. Your reputation speaks a lot for you. So make sure that you're sitting in a good light and be honest with yourself because you know yourself better than anyone else. And if you were really not up to par for that position, accept it, improve yourself, and the next time something becomes available, you'll be right there where you need to be. The bottom line is sometimes the interviewers do you a great service by not selecting you. They know that you would not be a good fit for the job, so why put you in that position that you may fail in? And so take this experience as not a bad thing. There's something else out there waiting for you. Keep your head up high. Go ahead and find out, ask them the reasons why you were not selected, work on those things and move on to the next spot. Don't get down over it. You know, the way you respond to this says a lot about you, and they're probably watching the way you respond to not getting the job, which may affect the next time something comes up, especially if these hiring managers are the same ones that may be interviewing for you for the next job. And they also, during the interview, may keep in mind that you did a great interview, and they will have their eye on you, so they'll still be watching out for you. If something does come available, they may come to you personally and say, put in for this. We're looking for someone for it, and we know what you did during the last interview, and we would love for you to post for this, put in for it. And that's a good sign that you have a great chance at that next position.